Let's talk real quick about Juan Martinez family. That's the father. I don't know if you happen to see the Univision clip. Well, it's in Spanish, but somebody translated on Reddit. Basically, the father was interviewed and saying that his son had just had brain surgery not too long before this. I think he said he's dizzy and he's having trouble walking. Like this is a serious, I mean, it was bad enough just being pummeled in the head, but to have these pre-existing issues. So we put together a GoFundMe to raise some money for the family. I've contacted Univision to get in contact with the family so we can deliver those funds. Is there anything you can fill us in that we don't know about the situation?
No, Cynthia reached out to me and, we had a conversation, and I knew at that point, and then from other conversations I had with other elected officials, because this got all the way up the chain, that something was being done and the kids would eventually go to jail. And that's what happened. But I will say to that family that, one, being who I am, I take this so serious that I apologize on behalf of the Houston Independent School District, because nobody's child should have to be subjected to that type of violence when they go to school. And a lot of times they normally pick on the immigrant kids. They pick on the Latino brothers and sisters. They're easy targets. And my thing is it's not fair. And I think we have to do a better job of protecting all of our children on these campuses. We have to do a better job. I wish there were 100 of me, because after school, I patrol the schools. I'll ride around Sterling and make sure there's no fights going on. I just think that starting to GoFundMe and trying to help and make sure that we can get this young man some medical help is the least that we could do. And I don't do this stuff for publicity. I do this all the time behind the scenes, just try to help the kids and the families, just try to give them a peace of mind and let them know that you're not in this by yourself. Somebody actually cares what happened to your child.
Yeah. I mean, I think anyone who watches that video, I mean, it's just, it's hard to see a kid trying to disengage. I mean, he's doing everything he's supposed to do. And that could be anybody's kid. So,
but that type of violence on a campus, Sean, can lead to other things. Like I say, the bullying aspect. Now you may have a kid who's in fear, who decides to bring a firearm on campus to protect themselves.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? So this is why it has to be addressed.
Is this something that happens, every day in Houston ISD? Is this normal?
This is an everyday ongoing thing in the Houston Independent School District. And it's, I've been an education advocate for 10 years, so I've seen it, thousands of times in not just, African American schools, but in every type of school. It goes on every single day. It's like it's a big fight club, and everybody's trying to see who can outdo who at these schools with these fights, and they record them. And I've had several meetings with district officials in regards to the safety of our students on our campus as it pertains to stuff like this. And some principals, they jump on it immediately, but a lot of them, they kind of just push it under the rug. And for that kid to have to go through that, the first thing I would say is if he retaliated, they'd have tried to suspend him. Right. But I've helped a lot of kids who have been jumped on like that, who defended themselves, and then they tried to suspend them. But I always ask the question, when do they have the right to actually defend themselves?
Right.
So, but this is ongoing. This is like every single day that this happens somewhere in one of these schools in HISD.
Right. What we run into here in KDISD is mutual combat. So the moment you respond to an assault, you have now entered mutual combat. And that's where both students are punished equally. And that bothers me so much because that doesn't reflect the real world. That's not what happens if you're jumped on the street and you defend yourself. So like, I don't understand why we're not training these kids for the real world on both ends, for the aggressors and
mutual combat is just a way of them to be able to push it under the rug so that they don't really have to address the fact that one person was actually assaulted and the other person was the aggressor. And in real life, you know, the person assaulted is the one that's the victim. So how
Right.
can you punish them for defending themselves? And trust me, I beat every school district that's come across my desk with. I've
Yeah.
defended those children and I beat their attorneys because I don't even like to solve issues in a level 1. I want to go to a level 2
Level.
grievance
Yeah.
so that we can have the attorneys in the room so we can have a court record of this.
Yep.
And when you get to that level, that's when they start fixing things.